Good afternoon, everyone. Today I will present teaching English as a foreign language with the topic Mastering English as a Foreign Language Strategies for Success. This topic is very important because English has become the language of global communication, and mastering it can open doors to education, career, intercultural opportunities. In this presentation, I will guide you step by step through several key areas. First, I will begin with the introduction, where I explain why English is essential and how it impacts learners worldwide. Then, I will move to the core principle of EFL mastery, which highlight the foundation of the effective language learning, such as meaningful context, communicative practice, confidence building, and motivation. Next, I will discuss the development stages of language learning, showing how learners progress from beginner to advanced levels, and why lifelong learning is necessary. After that, I will share effective strategies and activities that teachers can use, including storytelling, total physical response, gamification, music, and technology integration. I will also emphasize the importance of classroom management because even the best strategies will not succeed without a supportive and well-organized learning environment. Following that, I will explain curriculum and lesson planning, focusing on the 5 steps: engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate that help teachers design effective lessons. Finally, I will conclude by summarizing the main points and reinforcing the idea that mastering English is not about perfection, but about communication and growth. Each section of this presentation will highlight practical examples that can be applied directly in real classrooms, so that both teacher and learners can benefit from this strategy. English is a global language. It is not only spoken in native English-speaking countries, but it has also become the common language for international business, education, science, and intercultural communication. For example, when people from different countries meet in the conference, trade, or online collaboration, English is often the language they use it to connect. For learners of English as a foreign language, mastering it more than just memorizing grammar rules or vocabulary lists. It is about developing the confidence to use English in real situations, whether in classrooms, workplaces, or social interactions. Communication is the ultimate goal because language is meant to be spoken, shared, and understood. However, many students face challenges. Some struggle because they fear making mistakes, worrying that error will make them look less competent. Others lack motivation, especially when they do not see the immediate relevance of English to their daily lives. These barriers can slow down progress and reduce confidence. The purpose of this presentation is to inform learners about practical strategies that can help them succeed and to persuade them that English learning can be enjoyable and rewarding. At the same time, this presentation aims to show teachers how they can support students in overcoming these challenges by creating meaningful context, encouraging communication, and building confidence step by step. In short, mastering English as a foreign language is not just an academic requirement, but a life skill that empowers learners to participate fully in the global community. There are four key principles in mastering English as a foreign language. These principles act as a foundation for effective teaching and learning. First, learning must be placed in a meaningful context. Language is best acquired when students can connect it to the real life situation. For example, instead of only memorizing vocabulary lists, students can practice English by ordering food in a role play, introducing themselves to classmates, or discussing hobbies. This makes the language relevant and practical, and students begin to see English as a tool for communication rather than just a subject in school. Second, communicative practice is essential. Language is not meant to be memorized. It is meant to be used. Students should focus on interaction, whether through pair work, group discussion, or debates. For instance, a classroom activity where students interview each other about their weekend plans encourages spontaneous speaking and listening. This builds fluency and confidence, which are more valuable than perfect grammar at the early stages. Third, confidence building is crucial. Many learners hesitate to speak because they fear making mistakes. Teachers play a key role in reducing this fear. Simple encouragement, such as saying, "good job," or praising effort can make a big difference. Highlighting progress rather than perfection helps students feel safe to experiment with language. Over time, This confidence leads to the greater willingness to communicate and faster improvement. Finally, motivation and engagement keep learners and active and curious. Without motivation, even the best methods fails. Teachers can use games, projects, and creative tasks to make lessons enjoyable. For example, a class project where students create a short vlog in English combines creativity, technology, and language practice when students are engaged. They learn naturally and retain knowledge longer. In summary, meaningful context, communicative practice, confidence building, and motivation are four pillars of mastering EFL. Together, they create a learning environment where students not only study English, but live it, use it, and enjoy it. Language learning develops in stages, and understanding these stages helps both teachers and learners set realistic goals. Each stage represents a different level of ability, and teachers must adapt their methods accordingly. At the beginner stage, learners focus on vocabulary and simple sentences. They might start with greetings like hello, how are you, or basic description such as this is a cat. At this stage, repetition and exposure are very important. Teacher can use flashcards, songs, or a simple role plays to make learning fun and memorable. For example, singing a song about animals while showing pictures helps students connect words with meaning. At the intermediate stage, learners begin to practice fluency and comprehension. They can understand short dialogues, read simple text, and express ideas with more confidence. For instance, they might describe their daily routine, talk about their favorite food, or share experiences from the weekend. Teacher can encourage pair work, group discussion, and storytelling to build fluency. Activities like find someone who blah blah blah, games, or short interviews are effective at this level. At the advanced stage, learners engage in academic speaking and intercultural awareness. They can participate in debates, give presentations, and analyze text. At this level, accuracy becomes more important, and learners are encouraged to refine their grammar and vocabulary. Teachers can introduce critical thinking activities, such as analyzing articles, comparing cultural practices, or discussing global issues. This prepares students for academic and professional contexts where English is used at a higher level. Panjang juga. Beyond these stages, lifelong learning is essential. Even advanced learners must continue practicing to maintain and improve their skills. Language is dynamic, and new words, expressions, and cultural differences appears constantly. Lifelong learning can include reading books, watching movies, joining online communities, or traveling abroad. The key is to keep using English in meaningful ways. For example, professionals may read journals in English, while young learners may enjoy English podcasts or YouTube channels. In summary, language learning is a journey. Each stage builds on a previous one, and progress requires patience, practice, and persistence. Teachers should recognize where their students are and provide appropriate support, while learners should embrace each stage as part of their growth. By respecting these stages, both teachers and students can move forward with confidence and clear direction. Baru bab slide 6 tuh nah. Next, effective strategies. Several strategies can be applied to make English as a foreign language learning more effective, engaging, and enjoyable. These strategies are not only theoretical, but they can be implemented directly in classrooms to support learners at different levels. First, storytelling. Storytelling is a powerful tool because it connects language with imagination and emotion. When students listen to or create stories, they naturally acquire new vocabulary and structures. For example, a teacher can ask students to write short story about their weekend or invent a simple fairy tale. This activity encourages creativity while reinforcing grammar and vocabulary in a meaningful way. Second, total physical response or TPR. This method uses movement to reinforce learning. For instance, when teaching verbs like jump, run, or dance, students can act them out. The physical involvement helps learners remember words more effectively because they associate language with action. TPR especially useful for young learners, but it can also energize older students. Third, gamification. Learning becomes more enjoyable when it feels like a game. Teachers can design quizzes, competitions, or point systems to motivate students. For example, vocabulary challenge where students earn points for correct answer can create excitement and friendly competition. Gamification taps into students' natural desire for achievement and recognition. Fourth, music and chants. Rhythm and melody make language memorable. Songs and chants help learners improve pronunciation, intonation, and memory. For example, singing a simple song about days of the week or using chants to practice sentence patterns can make lessons lively and effective. Music also reduces anxiety and creates a positive classroom atmosphere. Finally, technology integration. In today's world, technology provides endless opportunities for language practice. Students can use apps like Duolingo or Memorize to practice vocabulary, record themselves speaking on a social media platform like TikTok or Instagram, or even use AI tools for pronunciation feedback. Technology connects learners to authentic English content and allows them to practice anytime and anywhere. In summary, effective strategies such as storytelling, TPR, gamification, music, and technology integration make EFL learning dynamic and interactive. These methods not only improve language skills, but also build confidence, motivation, and enjoyment in learning process. Next, classroom management. Classroom management is one of the most important aspects of successful language teaching. Even the most creative strategies will not work if the classroom environment is not well organized and supportive. First, teachers should keep instruction short and clear. Long explanations often confuse students, especially those at beginners levels. For example, instead of saying, now we are going to practice a dialogue where you will imagine you are in a restaurant and order food politely, the teacher can simply say, let's practice ordering food, pair up and start. Short instructions save time and reduce anxiety. Second, rotating activities helps avoid boredom. Learners, especially young ones, lose focus quickly if they do the same activity for too long. A good teachers might start with a listening exercise, then move to a role play, and finish with a game. This variety keeps students engaged and ensures that different skills, listening, speaking, reading, and writing, are practiced in one lesson. And the third one, encouraging motivation through positive reinforcement builds confidence. Simple phrases like good job or well done can make students feel valued. Teachers can also reward effort, not just accuracy. For example, praising a shy student for trying to speak, even with mistakes, helps them feel safe and motivated to continue. And the fourth, maintaining eye contact is a powerful way to engage students. When teachers look at their students while speaking, it shows attentiveness and respect. Eye contact also helps teachers gauge where students are following instruction or need clarification. This small gesture can make students feel included and supported. In summary, effective classroom management is about clarity, variety, encouragement, and connection. When teachers manage their classroom well, students feel safe, motivated, and ready to learn. A supportive environment is the foundation for successful language acquisition. Next is curriculum and lesson planning. Curriculum and lesson planning are the backbone of effective teaching. Without a clear plan, even the most enthusiastic teacher may struggle to deliver lessons that are structured, engaging, and meaningful. A well-designed plan ensures that students not only learn but also enjoy the process. One widely used framework is the 5E models: engage, explain, engage, explore, explain, elaborate, and evaluate. Each step plays a critical role in guiding students through the learning journey. First, engage. At the beginning of lesson, Teachers should spark curiosity and capture students' attention. This can be done through a question, short video, or a fun activity. For example, when teaching vocabulary about food, a teacher might show pictures of different dishes and ask students to guess their name in English. This creates interest and prepares students mentally for the lesson. Second, explore. In this stage, students are given opportunities to discover and experiment. They might work in a group, play a game, or complete a hands-on activity. For instance, students could role play ordering food in a restaurant. Exploration allows learners to connect new knowledge with their own experience. And the third, explain. After exploration, the the teacher clarifies concepts and provides structured input. This is the time to introduce grammar rules, sentence patterns, or pronunciation tips. For example, the teacher might explain how to use polite expression like "Could I have?" or "May I order?" in a restaurant context. Fourth, elaborate. Students practice and apply what they have learned in the different contexts. This could involve writing dialogues, performing role plays, and creating short videos. The goal is to deepen understanding and encourage creativity. For example, students might design their own menu and act out a restaurant scenario. Finally, assessment is not only about tests, it is about feedback. Teachers can evaluate through quizzes, peer review, or reflective discussion. For instance, after the restaurant role play, students can reflect on what expressions they use correctly and what they need to improve. Evaluation helps both teacher and learners identify strengths and area for growth. In summary, curriculum and lesson planning provide structure and direction. By following the 5E models, teachers can design lessons that are engaging, interactive, and effective. This ensures the students are not passive recipients of knowledge, but active participants in their own learning journey. Okay, next is conclusion. To conclude, mastering English as a foreign language is a holistic process. It is not something that can be achieved overnight, but rather a continuous journey that requires consistent practice, confidence, and motivation. One of the most important points to remember is that language learning is not about perfection. Many students hesitate to speak because they are afraid of making mistakes. But mistakes are natural and necessary part of learning. Every errors are opportunity to grow, and every attempt brings learners close to fluency. Teachers play a vital role in journey by creating meaningful context, encouraging communicative practice, and building confidence. Teachers can transform the classroom into a safe space where students feel motivated to learn. Strategies such as the storytelling, Total physical response, gamification, music, and technology integration are not just activities, they are bridges that connect learners to the language in engaging and memorable ways. Learners, on the other hand, must embrace the process with patience and persistence. They should understand the progress comes step by step, from beginners to intermediate, from intermediate to advanced, and finally to lifelong learning. Even advanced learners must continue practicing because language is dynamic and constantly evolving. In the end, mastering English is about communication and growth. It empowers learners to participate in global conversations, to access knowledge, and to connect with people across cultures. With the right strategies, every learner can succeed. So, let us remember, language learning is not about perfection, but about communication and growth. If teachers and learners work together with motivation, creativity, and confidence, success in mastering English as a foreign language is not only possible, it is inevitable. Okay, that's all for my presentation. Thank you.